Hello YouTube friends and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Deidre from Our Upcycled Life. Lots of thrifting, upcycling, repurposing, and DIY content, and I love new crafting friends. So make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss any great DIY content. Today I'm going to show you how I upcycled some pickle jars. I never throw out glass jars in the recycling bin. Always tuck them aside because you can always find a project for them. And I knew with these pickle jars I wanted to turn them into lanterns, and they turned out so cute. I did a really neat sea glass look on the inside of them and used up some of my twine that I've had, my jute twine, and they're turned out fantastic. Can't wait to show you, so let's get started. Today I'm going to show you how you can take glass jars and turn them into beautiful rope lanterns for your home decor. I always save all of my glass jars. I rescue them out of the recycling bin, and I'm going to take them down and wash them really well in some hot soapy water. Sometimes these pickle jars is really stubborn to get the smell of the pickles out of them, but I do find if you can't do that, soak it overnight in a little bit of bleach and water in your sink, and that usually gets rid of it. So let's get started. Now I want these glass jars to have a little bit of a nautical feel, so I'm going to tint the glass. I have a full tutorial on how to do this. It's a really simple technique, so I'm just going to kind of go fast through it right now, but it's going to create a nice sea glass look on each of these jars. I'm going to do a light green and a light blue, and this is just gel food coloring. I'll put the links below in the description of all the products that I'm using today to create these lanterns. This is such an easy technique. Some Elmer's glue, some food coloring, swirl it around in your glass jar, and then make sure it's covered completely. And when you're all finished, it leaves a really neat tinted looking glass. Like I said before, I have a full tutorial. Check that out after you watch this. These are all coated really well. Now they're going to be put in the oven at 200 degrees Celsius. And every 5 minutes, I'm going to turn them upside down and up until they're dry. It usually takes, depending on your oven, anywhere between a half an hour to an hour, and it will dry translucent and look beautiful. I've got them in the oven, and I'm just going to dry them out now. Isn't this blue a beautiful color from using that Elmer's glue technique to create tinted glass? I just love it. Now I'm going to measure out a bunch of jute the length of the jar. Okay, I have them all cut out now, and now I'm going to hot glue them onto the jar. I love my Gorilla hot glue gun sticks. It works fantastic. For this, I'll put a link down below, and I'm just going to put one on the front side, and then I'm going to flip it over and put one on the opposite side. So when I'm laying these down, they're all going to be evenly dispersed around the jar. I've put 8 pieces of jute around the jar, and now I'm just going to hot glue the ends of them just to make sure that they're secured down really well on the base. I used 8 pieces of jute to go around the outside of the jar, and now I'm going to put 2 pieces around the jar in the diameter. I'm going to cut them the length that I need and then hot glue them on. Now I want to create a handle for this lantern. I've got a piece of the jute, and I'm going to untwist it so I can take apart all of the ends, and then I'm going to tape it down to my table, and I'm going to braid it, and I think that makes a really cute looking handle. I've got it braided to the length that I need, and then I'm just going to tie a little knot in the end of each braid just to hold it in place while I place it on the lantern. Now we're ready to hot glue that on. I'm going to put a little bit of the hot glue there and then attach it, press it down so it attaches really firmly, and then I'm going to go to the opposite end of the jar and glue it down on that side. Now I'm going to take a piece of jute and wrap it around the neck of the bottle to cover up that handle and just make it have more of a finished look. Okay, now we're ready to work on the second one. I'm going to use a thinner jute for this one. I'm going to wrap the jute around the glass bottle, just a little bit bigger than it is. I want to have a loose circle that I can lift off after I tie a little knot in it. And I love the color of this green and the way that it turned out. It gives me real beach vibes. And as you can see, I tied it just loose so you can lift that circle off. Now you want to cut a whole bunch of strings 6 times the length of your glass jar. That will ensure that you have enough when you're tying your knots for this project. And I'm going to cut 12 for this project. Every jar is going to be different, so you can kind of determine how many you want to cut, but you always want to make sure that you have even numbers. You're going to fold that jute in half, and then we're going to do a lark's head knot around that circle. And you're going to add all 12 of those jute strings around that circle using the lark's head knot. Okay, now we have it all done. We're going to lift it up and we're going to put that circle over the top of the jar and space them out so they're evenly distributed along the neck of that jar. Now we have this all distributed around the neck of the bottle, and all you have to do now is know how to tie a knot. This is so simple, and it'll create a beautiful looking lantern. Now you can see those 4 strings. I'm going to take the 2 inside strings of those and just tie a knot. And you want to just kind of tie it to where you want it to lay on your jar, and then keep going all the way around the jar, making sure that you have all of your knots all on the same line and not uneven and the same tightness, and just work away on that. I've finished the first row, and now we're going to start on the second row. So now we're going to go and make it like a diamond. We're going to take those 2 inside strings and then knot them together, and that's going to create that diamond grid looking cover for your lantern. Okay, and I have it all done, but now you have all this extra string at the bottom. I'm going to flip it over and we're going to trim off that string so it's easier to work with to glue it down to the bottom of the pickle jar. And I'm going to glue each of those jute strings into the center of the jar, and then I'm going to cut out a little piece of cardboard, put some hot glue on it, and then glue that right down to keep everything in place, and it's nice and neat and tidy. For the green lantern, I'm going to put in a battery operated candle. It looks really cute in that. You can also put a votive in. And this blue lantern, I'm going to put some sand in the bottom of it to give it that real beach nautical look. And then I'm going to put a votive right into the sand, and your lanterns are complete. And aren't these darling? And the pickle jars were free out of the recycling bin. I had some leftover jute that I used up for this project, and I love the way that they turned out. Beautiful gifts and really simple to make. So check out this tutorial on how to tint and dye glass and make one of these for yourself. I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. Thanks for watching and have a great day.